Here we are. Good evening. How are you? All right. Welcome. Hope you guys are having a great night. All right. So, thanks for joining me for a. Oh, there we go. Make sure everything is set up properly. Thanks for joining me for your drafting session. So, I haven't done one of these in a bit. I've kind of been working on some other projects. And one of the things that I found this weekend at the Dollar Tree, something I've been looking for a little while, but my local stores really just didn't have it, and that would be these round wooden cutouts. So it's actually a set of 3. So they're just the unfinished, right? And this largest one is the one I'm working on tonight, and this is just 9 inches across. You'll have to pardon me tonight. I've a little bit of a sore throat, a little bit of coughing going on, just haven't been feeling all that fantastic this weekend. My daughter and I have been a little bit sick, so I'm hanging in there, and I really sort of wanted to just get something done tonight instead of feeling kind of bleh. So here we are. So like I said, if I don't do a ton of talking, I apologize. So what I did, and actually let me reach down here and grab this again. So I took, and yeah, pardon me, I shortcut just a little bit tonight. So I wanted to do a cutout of this, right, to do my practice on. And I just grabbed a standard piece of printer paper. Like I said, just kind of shortcutting it tonight. And it's, cut that out. I will show you how I find the center, and then, and normally I would have grabbed a larger piece of paper, but I usually go raid my daughter's stuff, and she just didn't have anything that wasn't like Halloween orange. So, and then I got my stencil to start me off. Again, just kind of doing some shortcut things tonight since I wasn't feeling 100%. So, what I'll do here is I'm going to go ahead and, once I've got this cut out, we're just going to do a quick half fold in both directions. Okay, now for right now, for the paper that I'm going to be using to draft this on, I have got my center. And then one of the cool things that I can do with this is either, once I'm done, I can either just, oops, hold that on the line, take a quick snip of the corner here, or as I'm using my compass, just naturally use the small pinhole, line this back up, and then I've got my center here. Or you could, even without having to even do that, just take the quarter, line it up on one of the edges, and you've got your center, right? So again, just some super simple, quick tricks, hacks, whatever, just some logical things to get the center set. All right, so like I said, I just got stencil that I'm going to go off of tonight. Just kind of see what I come up with. I don't even know where I'm going with this one yet, other than I probably will be painting the wood rounds. I'm probably going to go with black, or maybe even dark gray. And so I'm going to do a gradient off of that. Okay, just make sure that this is lined up properly, as much as I can get it anyways. Okay, now I'm just gonna mark out lines here. Obviously this doesn't fit my canvas size, right? So I'm just marking these. And then I'm going to take my ruler and draw them out. Saves my brain an extra step. And okay, I don't even know if it's visible on camera here, but so now I've got my point there, I've got my point here, and then just make sure that it's going to cross through the center. I'll do that on the two obvious lines first. Ones that are already set for me. Okay. Now I can go ahead with the others. And actually, did I miss one? No, I didn't. Okay. Just had a smudge on my paper, I guess. I thought I might have missed one. Okay. Okay. Now I can run over here to my compass. I'm actually going to use centimeters. Let's start by going out at a 2 here. Like I said, nothing fancy tonight. Oops. Dark enough. Oops. Okay. Now I have enough of a hole actually that I can line this back up, and I've got my center on my actual thing there. Okay. All right, so that's done and out of the way. Let me get that put away. Now I'll kind of rearrange my desk back to the way it normally is. So what we'll do here, like I said, I think I wanted some black or gray gradients. Okay. Actually, I could have showed you the hole there. It's more obvious. Okay, but anyways. All right. So let me scooch over a little. So if I do my background black, I do have, say, graphite, steel gray, and I've got a light gray sky. I've also got white and pearl white, and I've got zinc. The other thing that I could do, let me stop and think here for a second. I really do like the black and white, but I actually have quite a number of browns that I don't get to use very often. And I'm sort of wondering if maybe I should do a brown. I could even do sort of a off-white background. I could kind of keep the wood almost a natural color, almost the same color that it's at. I've got this light buttermilk, or even just the regular buttermilk, and I could play off of that too. So I've got all these nice browns. What else have I got up here? I've got some gold too. Ooh. Why don't I try that for a change, huh? And if I decide that I don't like it, then on this, then I'll just change the colors up as I paint the other item. Okay, let's get out some tools here. Per the usual, Happy Dotting Company tools. Let's see. Tonight, I probably want to go up to maybe a 10 for the center. Wherever my 10 might be. Let me see. You know what? I can probably even do a 12. If I can find it. Kind of shoved everything in my glass jar here. I think a 12 is going to be good. All right. So again, if you've never caught a drafting session, essentially this is me just playing around, right? This is me creating a design. I do a lot of talking about my thought process. Essentially a lot of talking out loud, working through my thought process. If anyone stops by and joins me while I'm live doing this, I certainly welcome the feedback. You know, if you've got ideas, suggestions, color ideas, whatever, I'm all for it. So drop those in, even if you are happening to see this after the live. Again, I'm happy to take the feedback. Okay. Now I have salted caramel and honey brown. So this is the one that I used. Maybe I'll put both in my palette and see maybe which one I like better. They're almost, I shouldn't say they're almost the same. They're definitely not the same. Okay, so I've got my ranges of brown there. On the actual piece, I'll probably play around with the buttermilk as well. Okay, so let me start obviously with the dark. Let's go to the 12. I kind of put these in backwards here. Now again, this is just a piece of printer paper that I'm using. So I am very well aware that all of the dots will not be beautiful and nice, and especially if I do start swooshing, they don't look great. They never do on paper, and I don't build up a ton of paint when I'm doing my drafting sessions. I will kind of go light on it, so let's do 2. We're going to start off like always. One thing I did forget to have in front of me, which I need to grab a hold of real quick, is my handy dandy sketchbook. Okay. All right, so I always have my sketchbook here next to me, and I start writing down the pattern that I'm making. So for example, 12 center, and then 2 the dots here on this side. Now, what I was thinking of doing is having teardrops or swooshes pointing out this direction, so that I can bring in the walked dots kind of the opposite direction. Okay, so let me see here. How big can I get in here? I'm thinking of 5. Let's see, I need my swoosh tool, i.e. my dot tool here. Let's go with the lighter brown. Let's see. Now I can either leave it there, or what if I go all the way out? That actually I think looks better. Okay, and again, I'm just bringing the paint out. Okay. No, this is not the way it'll look finalized. I have some scratch marks here, but I'm only going to put 1 dot of paint. I'm not going to load it up like I would if this was on its final surface. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to consider is, do I just want to do walked dots around these, or do I maybe want to try a swoosh? I've done this, let's see, 2 or 3 times before, where I've actually just done the, I don't even know what you would call it, a swoosh, where there's a large dot here and it only goes down one side. So you have this large dot here and then just one side kind of brought down, not the other side. And I like the look of it because it absolutely reminds me of the center of a flower. But I'm just not 100% sure if I want to do the same thing, you know, again. Most part of the process is always kind of fun because, you know, you sort of don't have to be perfect. I don't have to worry about doing everything right the first time. Is this as if I'm doing it on the project itself? And I've done that a lot, and I've started a project and just thought, well, I'm just going to wing it and throw something together, and I start on it. And it definitely, I don't think ever has evolved the way I had imagined it in my head. And about half of the time I ended up just not liking it. So this, even though it does take longer, by having this process, it is worth it in the long run. Okay, so let's do an experiment here. Let's try what I was talking about with the petals, and then let me try maybe something else. I'll do a couple of these and see if I like it. Let me do one more. So that's like option 1. Or let's see. What if I do, let's pick up a 3. Oops. I already don't like that. Not at all. Okay. The other thing that I can do is go for a full swoosh too. Give me another idea. Let's see here. That's not bad. What I could do though, is let me go down a half a step for these next ones. Because then what I could do here is add in maybe a small layer of dots. Let's try this. I don't know, just throwing a color in here. Right, and I don't have quite that room here, but I could also maybe do a little swoosh, maybe start it out up here. Almost enough room, but it's pushing it just a little. Oops. And that would fill that in between. Okay. So this is an absolute no-go, right? So this would be option 1. So I'm going to write this down. Let me see what I want to do here. So I'm going to skip that completely. That would be a 5. And my third option would be this one, which is 3.5. And I think I did these other ones 4. Yeah, that was a 5. Okay. All right. So if you have any opinions on that, let me know. So again, this would be option 1. And then what I normally do there is add in another set of these, which are smaller here. That I didn't like at all. Option number 2, where I fill that in, or 3. Okay. So let's see what I want to do on the next outer row. I probably want to go with something larger. Let's say an 8, but I got to bring back in some of that dark from here. Wait a second. Let's see. I want to be just ever so slightly lifted from that line. Let me see, do I want probably a 5. You know what? That's much too big. it's still too big, I think. So let's go with 3. So the top will be a 3, and then I'm going to reduce it one size down for the walk. And let's see if I can make that all the way around. That's better. So let's do that again just to make sure I've got it. Yep, I like that one much better. Okay, so that means the next row, which let's go back into this one. It's just going to be one set larger. Okay, now looking at that one, I still have a lot of empty space, so I'm going to take these numbers, but I'm going to increase them a half a size, so that I know on the final that they'll fit together. So these will be a little closer together, so I won't have so much negative space there. So, like I said, I'm jotting all this down on my little notepad here. Okay. And then, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to do this one. So I have, oops, a good starting point. So I at least have a good spacing so I know what my next round is going to be. And I know I just told myself, yes, on the final, I'm going to go ahead and do the larger sizes. But just to finish this off, I'm going to do it in the whole size. Like I said, pardon me, I've got this cold or whatever hanging on. Okay, I'm going to go over this design. And in the final, the other thing that I'll be doing too is, so let me see the best way I can explain this. So as these teardrop shapes go completely around, you see that right now they're falling over this line here and into this design. I don't want to do that. So one of two things I'll do on the final is I will either go ahead and make another guideline for myself if I really want to be lazy about it. I will go ahead and set my compass and do another line out here, right? So that I don't put any of these dots too far down. The other way that I can fix that is that once I've done the center, let me take a 1 second. Okay. Or the other thing that I can do is just put a dot here. So before I lay this one, I'll put a dot here and then put this one on top of it. Now using the dot is what I would typically do. But again, just to make sure everything is really consistent, I might go ahead and do a guideline there. Now, so I come to the top here. Let me see, where's my pencil? Kind of darken this a little. And I probably want to put some swooshes back in here, but I want to do something different. I'm looking at some more flourishy designs that I've done, and I think I might want to incorporate them in here. My only hesitation with doing that is that they might not translate very well on the smaller size canvas. Especially, let me see here. So let's do that too. So here's the other two. So maybe on this one, but definitely on that. So I do want to make the design something that will translate between all three sizes. Now, because the other ones are so much smaller, you know, so they're halved, I don't necessarily have to include a more, so for example, if I put in a more flourished design here, I don't have to include that on the middle size or even the very tiny canvas, I could really just stick with whatever part of the pattern towards the center that will fit, and then leave this one as a little more intricate, which I think would still follow pretty nicely. One that I had done, let me think here. One that I had done had kind of a teardrop shape here with some flourishes around. That might have to sit here, but then I could fill this in. Let's just try it. Just for the heck of it, let's go with the lightest color. Yeah, that's okay. I'm just reconsidering my color option here and my size. Probably go 2.5 there. That looks very straight. Don't want that to be straight. That one's a little better. Okay. a little off there. I just didn't have the same amount of space between these as on this side. Thank goodness it's just a drafting session. Let's just stick that there for right now. I don't know if I like that straight across, but can always mess with that a little. Okay, so essentially that would be the more embellished part, right? And so that, what I would probably need to do is move this whole thing up. So these 3 dots here would probably start here instead of underneath. And then just make sure that that is centered. This here, I would probably, oops, there's a piece of lead there. Then I would likely take these, because then I would have more room, and bring them out here a little farther so they fill up that gap in above this large dot, and then they would pull down and they would meet more curved into the center instead of this odd straight line. And I don't mind the 3 dots at the bottom. That is perfectly fine. Let me put this down here. The other thing that would happen too is once I move this whole section here up, then it would leave more room for the next ones that came in after it. Because right now it's kind of squished. And if I were to put another one here with this same width, essentially these outsides here would be touching one another, and I don't want that either. So again, this whole thing would need to be pushed up, and that'll give it more space around the outside. And then I'm gonna have to figure out what then to do here in this last row. I'm not too concerned about it right at this minute, because at least I've got the basis of this done. Like I said, I just don't 100% know what I want to do here. I mean, the other option that I could do is something super traditional, and just do, you know, a set of, oops, let's not use my pencil as a tool. Let's see. And do something like that. And I don't think I really want to do that. I mean, that's way too simplistic. Very old school style. Don't know that I like that a whole lot. I'm kind of leaning towards this one with the dots here in the center. Because these ones, yeah, I've done this before. I mean, I know how it looks. I'm fine with how it looks, but, and then these also, these are a 2 with as much space as in here. Oops, so it's actually still wet. As much space as in here, what I could do is instead, I'm gonna drop this here, is make it smaller. And then do another row on the outside, right? So I have a 2-line center instead of just a 1. Otherwise, the other option would be to do larger and then do like a filler dot in between them. So I'll play around with that just a little bit as well. But I think I'm going to end this one for tonight. I don't feel like I got a ton accomplished on this. I don't know, it kind of looks a little bit disjointed right now, and there's not a whole lot going on. But in the hour that I've been working on it, like I said, I feel very slow. I'm just not feeling my best. So it's a good time to stop. I've got a lot on my plate to think about as to the design elements on this. I'm not even 100% convinced that I like the browns. I like the 2 dark browns, but I have just never convinced myself that I really like these 2, which is, what is the other one called? It's honey brown and what is the other one? Let me look at it again. Salted caramel. And the salted caramel, I think, was one that was one of the 2025 colors, or 24 colors. Like I said, I'm just not, I don't know that I like that. So I might completely flip the script here and just do this in grays, and then maybe I'll put a pop of color in there. Maybe I'll just do like one of the dark grays and one of the light grays, and then maybe put in something like a pink or light purple, you know, a teal or something like that, right? Some sort of pop of color that will go through this. So I really like the idea of staying with kind of neutral tones, just because as something on your walls, I think that it'll be more accessible to more people. If I start adding in crazy colors, right? If I start doing something that is, for example, all in greens, who's going to put this on their wall, right? You've got to really love green, and it doesn't quite fit everyone's aesthetic. So that's another thing that I got to kind of think about. So, all right, again, thank you so much, anyone having stopped by. If you're checking this out after, please drop me a comment. Let me know which of these designs and patterns you think is going to be best. Again, this section here is 1. Okay, let's make this one here, the more traditional one, 2. Okay, 3 would be the closed in, and 4 with the dots. And then this one's completely out. I don't even like that. So thanks again so much for joining me. I certainly do appreciate it. As usual, if you've made it this far, make sure that you're subscribed. I will check back with everyone via comments, kind of check out what you guys like the best. And if you have any ideas as far as the colors, again, also drop that in, because I could also be doing this in something like blues. You know, I have a lot of teal and blue shades, or I don't know necessarily that I would do this in purple. I've already done one in purple and greens, and yeah. But let me know. Thanks for stopping by though. I certainly do appreciate it, and I'll be be back later. I don't know if I'm ready to solidify this yet. I might come back for a second drafting session and fill this in a little bit more, and maybe figure out what I want to do on that outside row. Maybe even flip this over and start again with the changes that I've already made to make this a little bit more cohesive and kind of see exactly what's going to fit before I put it on my main pieces, which still have to be prepped. So, all right. Thank you so much. You guys have a fantastic evening. Take care, and I'm going to catch you guys next time. Have a nice night and happy dotting.